Hey everybody, my Mustang topic for the day is idler arms. Last season I decided it was time to replace my idler arm. I'll take you underneath in a couple minutes and show you. But the aftermarket is getting a little bit more difficult when you get replacement parts for one of these cars that's, getting 50 years old. And so I ordered a replacement idler arm that was supposed to fit. And I'll show you the picture. But the replacement arm, it's a little different design, and while it's supposed to fit, the arm is longer, and so when an idler arm has a kind of an L shape to it, and the vertical bar was longer so that the horizontal arm was lower by, oh goodness, probably close to 3/4 of an inch. While I think I could have made it fit the car, it would have changed the steering geometry a fair bit. It would have definitely thrown the alignment out by a long ways. And so I sent that one back. And my solution was, mine still has a stock type idler arm on it. My memory is that when I bought the car, that it had been replaced with one that looked similar to the factory one. The only thing I noticed was it has an extra grease fitting on it that I don't recall the factory arm having. But in any case, it served me well for 30 some years, and but the rubber bushing was going bad, and the rubber bushing where it attaches to the tie rods. And what I learned is that you can purchase the bushing separately and replace just the bushing at the end where the idler arm contacts the tie rod end. And I was unable to take it apart by myself. I tried to drive it out of the old arm, but my son-in-law has a press and he has some bearing splitters, and I took it over to him and he was able to pop the old one out and press the new one in probably about 10 minutes, and I was able to get that bolted back in and get the Mustang back on the road. As I said, I sent the other one back. It may be a perfectly fine arm if you realign the front end, but it was a concern for me. So here's what the factory style idler arm looks like in the Mustang. It has a vertical arm that goes up to the frame there, and then this is the horizontal arm that comes forward and then mounts here to the center link, and you can see then here's where the bushing is. The bushing presses through this arm, and so I was able to replace just that bushing and put it back into place. But what you can see is that if this end here was 3/4 of an inch longer, you would take this center link and you would drop it by 3/4 of an inch, and then that 3/4 of an inch is going to affect your tie rod end here that goes out to the wheel, and you would change the toe end by quite a bit. So in any case, I was able to repair this one because the joint in the back was still tight from being greased all these years. It hasn't loosened up, and so replacing the bushing was right. Now maybe if you hunt around enough to the reproduction shops, maybe you can find a new idler arm of this style. But at the time I was looking last year, with all the supply chain things going on in the world, that just didn't work out for me, and so this was my fix. For those of you working on old Mustangs, something to pay attention to. This pertains to this particular car is a manual steering version, and it's actually got the power steering box but no power steering. That's how the high performance versions of the Mustangs, the Mach 1s, were set up. It's a high ratio gear without power assist. When they called these muscle cars, they weren't kidding. That's all for now.